Well, welcome you to CommonWell TV, where we're interviewing some of the top health IT industry experts and finding out how their organizations are assisting with interoperability. And it's time now to hear from the CEO of Moxe Health, and that is Dan Wilson. And Dan, we're seeing a lot of change and advancement when it comes to interoperability. What role does CommonWell play in this, and what role do you see them playing here in the coming years?
Yeah, no, as you said, there's so much change taking place right now. So I think what CommonWell has done so well over the last couple of years, I think, is play the role of a convener. So bringing together so many different stakeholders from across the ecosystem, defining some standard rules of the road around how those groups can work together to address the interoperability, problem here. And I think that the need for a strong convener is only going to increase in terms of importance and impact. So as we're seeing more and more systems opening up, more and more use cases uncovered, there are going to be more questions around privacy, security, normalizing of data, all of these things that kind of go into achieving the vision that I think we all share of what an interoperable ecosystem can look like, is going to require some people to kind of step forward, uh, continue to chart a path and play that role of kind of industry convener, something that you have a lot of experience doing, and I expect will continue to play a very substantial role in driving forward.
Yeah, Dan, and speaking of that, some of the new government regulations that are going to be coming through, how is that necessarily going to benefit not just clinicians, patients, and so on?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's still pretty early days, and we'll have to see how things evolve here. But I do think there are a couple of areas that that are very promising about these regulations. So first and foremost, the effect that they're going to have, I believe, in kind of commoditizing data exchange is going to have extremely far-reaching impact. So as a lot of the cost and complexity is driven out of setting up this data exchange infrastructure, the impact will be that costs come down, which now opens up a whole slew of new use cases that previously have been hard to justify setting infrastructure up around. And so we'll start to see this kind of progression down the path of using clinical data from more sources for more use cases, all of which is obviously great for the industry, great for the patient, and everyone who is surrounds himself around taking care of patients. So that to me is probably the most promising mid to long term outcome of the regulations. I think that certainly the kind of, I guess, laying down the gauntlet in a sense around what is and is not going to be acceptable around information blocking versus sharing of data, and some of the teeth that I think exist around those exceptions, will only kind of help in speeding up this move that, as an industry, we've already been working on for years, but now there's a little bit more urgency.
Dan, what would you say some of the maybe misconceptions or misnomers that are out there when it comes to health data sharing?
Yeah, from my point of view, the biggest one is that this is a technical problem. I really don't see data exchange at the end of the day as being a technical issue. It is something that we're very capable of setting up connectivity between two databases. What it really comes down to, in my opinion, is what is the point? What problem are we trying to solve, and how do we align workflows and the various stakeholders around engaging in data exchange? And so I think when we think about this too much as a technical issue, and that thus there being a technical solution, we kind of miss the larger opportunity and the larger point, which actually brings us back to that first question you asked about the role of CommonWell. This is in large part about convening people, bringing them together and aligning around a set of use cases and a set of workflows that we're trying to enable.
Well, Dan, I know that CommonWell is proud to have Moxe Health as a brand new member and everything that they're trying to do with interoperability here as we move forward. And for more information on Dan Wilson, the CEO of Moxe Health, and everything that they provide, we invite you to log on to commonwellalliance.org.